Hey guys, and welcome to the 9th day of the July Scrapathon of 2018. So here I'm going to be using my summer kit that I made for my stash, and this is a kit that I posted yesterday. It should be up on my channel now. And also, if you have no idea what the July Scrapathon is, I did it last year and I'm doing it again a lot simpler this time around. I have an intro video with all the details over on my channel, so you can check that out. So anyway, I knew as soon as I made this kit that I wanted to use this paper here as a background with a bunch of mixed media, because I don't know, I just really liked the black and white and the dot effect going on, and I think it would look really cool as a background. So the first layout I make with this kit, I'm going to use that paper because I wanted to. So first things first, I'm going to use some gesso and a palette knife and scrape the gesso onto my page in quite a large area, because I know I want to add a lot of color to this page. And I'm gonna try a new kind of technique thing here. So I pulled out my distress oxides and I got this makeup sponge thingy, and because there's gesso on the background, when I'm using that makeup sponge to apply the ink dry onto my page, and then I'm taking my water brush with just a little bit of water and putting it on there, and then the ink kind of pools up and blends and just makes this really cool watercolory look. And I like the combination of the smudged look with the watercolory look really, really much. And I do think just the smudged look will look really nice on a page as well. But for this instance, I don't know, I just kind of playing around, and this is what I came up with. So, but I think it wouldn't smudge all that nicely if there was no gesso on the background. Now, I used a makeup remover, or whatever you want to call it, like a kind of spongy thing, because I don't have the applicators for these inks. I think they're by Tim Holtz. So I kind of improvised and used that instead, and it actually worked really well. So I'm just using a mix and match of different colors that are also included in my kit. So I got purple, green, pink, and blue. And I'm going to tell you the difference. So it is much easier to use this technique with oxides rather than distress inks, but I had to use a combination of the two because I only own 2 oxides. So yeah, so I'm using the purple and the green are distress oxides. So I'm using the wilted violet and the twisted citron, and then I'm using picked raspberry, mustard seed, and tumble glass, and I think Mermaid Lagoon. It's either Mermaid Lagoon or peacock feathers. I'm not entirely sure on that for the blue color. And now I got this really messy looking background since there's nothing on top of it. But once I place my pictures and my layers and everything, it looks a lot cooler and a lot prettier. So then I also want to do some splatter. So I'm just taking my paintbrush to begin with and flicking it on, but then I decided to not do that. Instead, put some the ink on some packaging with some water and just flip it over and flick it with my finger, if that makes sense. And now I'm just adding some more color to places, because I feel like the green is only in the center and then the other colors are kind of on the outside, when I kind of wanted them to pull up a bit more. But I do like how it ends up looking, I guess. I know it looks like a huge mess right now, but once you place everything on top, it looks a lot better. So yeah, I need to get some more oxides, I think, because I love them. So this is something I've been doing quite a lot lately. So when I cut down for white cardstock, I use these A3 sheets, and I cut them down to have a 12 by 12. So the length is 12 inches. Because the height is already, I think it's 11.5 that way. And then I always have this excess piece of notebook looking paper, because it's attached on a spiral in a paper pad kind of thing. And I've been really liking matting my photos with those excess pieces, because the white makes them pop up, especially if there's not a lot of white in the photo, like in this instance. And then also that notebook kind of looking thing adds some texture that I really, really like. So now I'm working on some layers. So I got that black piece from Dear Lizzie first and matted it behind my photo just to add some more contrast, and also bring black from the background into the layers, since I added all that color over the background. And also my sunglasses kind of look black, even though they're not. They're more of like a bluish color, but they look black in pictures. So there's that. And then because it was too black, I needed some more colorful layers. So I got that Dear Lizzie Happy Place 6x6 paper, the green one. The black one is from the same place. And then I wanted one more layer, but I just couldn't figure out what. So my first thought was to use this yellow one, but that was too close to the green. I mean, it was like yellow and green and blue kind of qualify as the same color family for this layout. And I wanted something with a more pink and purpley colors to bring them in from the background as well. So now behind my photo, I got all the colors that I have in the background. So I got the black that makes the photo stand out a bit more from the colors in the background. But then I also have the green and the pink and the blue and everything in that camera piece. So now I got all the pictures from my background into my photo cluster. So yeah, so I ended up using that camera piece again from the Dear Lizzie Happy Place collection. That's from a 12x12 sheet. And then here I thought this emoji, this is from Emoji Love by Simple Stories, and I thought those speech bubbles would look really nice on here because the colors matched, and it's kind of more of like a teenager-y kind of feel layout because, well, I'm 16 and that's me in the photo. So I thought like these speech bubbles that kind of look like text bubbles with these phrases would work well for this. And they also, not only they kind of match the theme, but they mostly, I just use them because of the design element they added. That's the reason why I use most things I use. I don't really pay attention to what's on them unless it's something really themey. So yeah, and here I'm going through some cards because I felt like I needed to start a cluster on the side of my picture. So I pull out that one that says, oh yeah, and that's from the Simple Stories, Sunshine and Happiness. And I'm going to leave that there for a bit, but it's not going to stay. And then I'm trying to figure out where I want to place these speech bubbles. Now, some of these are cut off at the edge just because that's how they were on the paper. So I know those will have to go in certain places so they seem like I purposely cut them off the edge of my layout. So the pink seriously has to go on top there, and then the one that's the blue one that says haha has to go over to the right. So I got 4 of them up there for the time being, and I really like how those look there. And now I decided that I'm going to pop my photo up on some foam, and that's just some craft foam that I get. Well, actually I had that since I was like 5 or 6, and we never actually used all of it, so I'm using it now. But when that's out, I'm just going to go to like a local book store / stationery store / craft store and get some more, but I don't think that's going to be anytime soon. I think if you're in the States, I think like Walmart and Target and Joann's and Michael's and Hobby Lobby probably all have that, but yeah. So then here I'm gonna just cut off the boarding strip, and it kind of pained me to waste that beautiful green kiwi paper on the back, but I wanted to use the other side as a background more than I wanted to use the back side, so that is what I did. Now I'm gonna trim off that green piece just a little bit, just to kind of minimize the clusters there. I felt like it were a bit too much. And now I'm going to go through all the die cuts that I include in the kit. It's mostly the Happy Place die cuts from Dear Lizzie, along with some random other ones. Because I want to create a cluster over to the side of my photo, to kind of just, I don't know, I felt like I needed a cluster next to it on the left. So I was trying to find something to start this cluster, something a bit big, but not too big. So I pulled out some different die cuts here that I thought I could use. The problem with this layout, there's a lot of words because I use the speech bubbles that all have words in them, and I'm also going to use a title kind of piece here in just a second, and then a problem I had was I needed more of icons rather than words to do that cluster on the left, the embellishment cluster, so that's what I struggled with at the beginning, but then I just get over it and use some word themed things. So I went through my sticker sheets there. Sorry for the sudden light change. Apparently it became dark and I had to turn on my lights. So yeah. So then I cut out 2 more of these speech bubbles in the pink color. Because I had 2 blue ones up there and I wanted to bring in some more pink. So I brought 2 pink ones down at the bottom. And that also, it balances out because there's no pink paint at the bottom of the page. And there's not really a lot of blue paint at the top. So by adding blue at the top and pink at the bottom, it kind of fixes that. So I've done a lot of things here that I did not talk about. So first I used that chipboard piece that says today, and it was just a nice white bold accent. I really liked it there, so I stuck it down there, and I finally figured out what cluster I wanted to do. So I got that camera and the arrow both from the Simple Store Attention and Happiness sticker sheet, and I also have that die cut there to the side, and I think that makes a nice cluster. And I'm just going through and trying to add a few more things. So now that I got the basic design element, I'm gonna come in with some smaller things. So once I got my paper layers done, my big embellishments, and my title if I'm using one, that's when I go through like smaller puffy stickers and brads and enamel dots and rhinestones and sequins and whatnot. First I need to know the design that this page is going to have before I think about the small bits and pieces that I'm going to add. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So now here what I just quickly did there on that today piece is the part that overlapped because it's chipboard and it's not really flexible, the part that overlapped my photo was going to be popped up a bit because of the fact that it is my photo is backed on foam. So I had to add some foam to the Y that's hanging off the photo so it will glue down properly. So that is what I did. I'm gonna fidget with that quite a bit before I get it down right. So think about that. And now because this is chipboard and I've moved it a lot, quite a bit on this page, and I've also attempted to use it in other pages, it needed some extra adhesive, so I just brought in some glue and added that. So then here I thought these cute little brads that the smaller ones will look really nice, but I didn't want to go through the process of piercing my paper, so I'm just gonna cut off the brad parts on those. And then as I did that, of course, as soon as the scissors clipped the metal part off, the brad went flying through the air, and because it was so small, I could not find it for the life of me. It has been lost forever. And then I got the other one to do the same thing, and I have lost both of those small brads. I was so annoyed. So then I went and got these enamel dots that were actually not included in the kit, but I thought, what the heck? And I'm going to use one on the cluster to the left of the photo, and one with the speech bubbles on top and one with the speech bubbles on the bottom. So I got black on the bottom part just to bring in kind of that black that's in the photo, and also in the speech bubble on the top. I got pink in the top because there's a lot of blue but not a lot of pink, and then I got blue on the side. I don't know, I just thought I liked the blue. I kind of broke the pink camera and the pink arrow because there's pink there as well. So yeah, then I decided I do want to use brads, so I'm going to pick a couple of the larger ones, and this time be very, very careful when I cut the backs of them off. And I'm going to do that for 3 of these brads. So the way I do that, I just open the little things, I don't know what you call them, like tails or feet, I have no idea. I just open them and you twist my scissors around them until it breaks. They break pretty easily. I'm not sure if you can see it well on camera, but that's what I did. The problem with doing that though is then I don't know what adhesive I have to use on the back because there's this kind of dent. So it didn't glue down with just adding that. So that is about going to complete the page. I added 3 brads on this page. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will have pictures over on Instagram if you want to go check that out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.